As I pulled into the desolate gas station on that moonless night, a sense of unease settled deep within me. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows that danced along the worn-out concrete. The air hung heavy with an unsettling silence, as if the world itself held its breath, anticipating the horrors to come. I glanced around expecting to see the reassuring presence of other travelers, but the station stood empty. The windows of the convenience store were dark and foreboding, devoid of life. Swallowing hard, I stepped out of my car, the chilling wind cutting through my jacket. I approached the fuel pumps, the sound of my footsteps echoing in the stillness. As I reached for the nozzle, a whisper caressed my ear, sending a shiver down my spine. My gaze darted around, but there was no one in sight. The whispering persisted, growing louder and more sinister, filling my mind with a sense of impending doom. I tried to shake off the growing fear, telling myself it was just my imagination playing tricks. But then, the gasoline pump sprang to life, spraying fuel wildly in all directions. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my chest, as the gas formed a puddle at my feet. Suddenly, a match ignited from nowhere, casting an eerie glow upon a figure that emerged from the shadows. It was a man, his face hidden beneath a tattered hood. He moved with an unnatural swiftness, his steps calculated and precise. The figure lifted the match, its flame dancing ominously. Time seemed to slow as he brought it closer to the ground, igniting the gasoline. The flames erupted, enveloping everything in a sinister embrace. The man's laughter echoed through the night, chilling me to the core. I ran back to my car, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I saw the gas station devoured by the inferno, a haunting testament to its malevolence. As I sped away, the glow of the flames faded behind me, but the horrors I had witnessed were etched into my soul. That gas station, a place of nightmares, had forever scarred my psyche, serving as a chilling reminder that sometimes darkness lies hidden in the most mundane of places, waiting to claim its next victim. The gas station loomed before me like a forgotten outpost in the depths of hell. Its neon sign flickered sporadically, casting eerie shadows on the worn-out pavement. I hesitated, my instincts urging me to flee, but desperation for fuel held me captive. As I stepped out of the car, the air grew heavy, suffocating. The buzz of the fluorescent lights echoed in my ears, a discordant symphony that filled me with dread. I glanced around, searching for any sign of life, but found only darkness and an eerie silence. Entering the convenience store, a chill slithered down my spine. The shelves were stocked with expired goods, their packages stained and discolored. The cashier's booth was vacant, abandoned without a trace. Panic welled up within me, gnawing at my sanity. The distant sound of footsteps echoed through the empty store, each one growing closer and more pronounced. My heart raced as I peered down the shadowy aisle, catching a glimpse of movement. A figure emerged, shrouded in darkness, his face obscured by a tattered hood. Fear gripped me, paralyzing my every muscle. The figure approached, his steps deliberate and purposeful. His eyes, gleaming with malevolence, locked onto mine. A wicked smile stretched across his face, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. I stumbled backward, desperate to escape, but the exit seemed to recede into the distance, mocking my futile attempts. The figure lunged, his touch ice-cold and suffocating. The world blurred around me as his grip tightened, draining the warmth from my soul. Whispers echoed in my mind, tormenting me with their haunting words. I screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the abyss. Darkness consumed me, leaving only the lingering presence of terror. In the depths of that forsaken gas station, I became another victim of its sinister grasp. A cautionary tale of a place tainted by nightmares. A reminder that even in the mundane corners of our world, unspeakable horrors await those who dare to venture too far into the night. The flickering neon sign of the gas station called out to me like a beacon in the lonely night. Reluctantly, I pulled in, the eerie stillness engulfing me. I stepped out of my car, a chill crawling up my spine as the wind whispered through the surrounding trees. Inside, the dimly lit store felt suffocating. Shelves lined with dusty products cast long shadows, the air heavy with an indescribable scent. An unsettling silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant hum of refrigeration units. As I approached the counter, a sense of unease intensified. The cashier's absence was conspicuous, the space void of any human presence. Panic tinged my every nerve, urging me to leave, but I needed fuel to continue my journey. A creaking sound echoed from the back, drawing my attention. I called out, but my voice was met with eerie silence. The shadows seemed to grow longer, as if reaching out to touch me. The unease turned to dread, my heart pounding against my ribcage. A sudden flicker of movement caught my eye, causing my breath to hitch. The reflection in the cracked mirror behind the counter revealed a figure lurking in the aisles. Their twisted form moved with an unnatural gait, shrouded in tattered rags. My mouth went dry, a primal instinct telling me to run, but before I could react, the figure lunged towards me, emitting a guttural growl. Panic consumed me as I stumbled backward, crashing into a shelf. The contents rained down upon me, adding to the chaos and confusion. As I fought to regain my footing, the figure closed in, its eyes glowing with a malevolent intensity. With a surge of adrenaline, I pushed past, sprinting towards the exit. The sound of its inhuman screeches echoed through the night, chasing me into the darkness. Gasping for air, I dove into my car, my heart threatening to burst from my chest. As I peeled away from the gas station, I glanced back one last time, only to find the figure standing in the distance, watching me with an insidious grin. The encounter would forever haunt me, a chilling reminder that some places harbor unspeakable horrors. The gas station at night, a gateway to darkness, had claimed a piece of my soul, leaving me forever scarred by the terrors that lurked within. The night was thick with an ominous fog as I pulled into the abandoned gas station. The worn-out sign swung back and forth, its flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the cracked pavement. A knot tightened in my stomach, warning me of the impending danger. With trembling hands, I stepped out of the car, the chill of the night sinking into my bones. The gas station stood as a desolate monument to a forgotten era, its windows shattered and doors hanging from their hinges. A sense of unease washed over me, but I had no other choice but to refuel. As I approached the pumps, a low moan carried on the wind, sending a shiver down my spine. I glanced around, my heart pounding, but saw no one in sight. The only sound was the rhythmic dripping of an old leaky faucet, as if the gas station itself wept for its lost souls. I reached for the nozzle, my fingers brushing against something sticky. Panic surged through me as I looked down and discovered the dark crimson stain covering the ground. Dread consumed my every thought, but I pushed it aside, desperate to finish refueling. Suddenly, a flickering light caught my attention, a lone swinging bulb illuminating the cashier's booth. I approached cautiously, my footsteps echoing through the emptiness. The booth's window was cracked, and a single blood-stained note lay on the counter. My heart raced as I read the chilling message. "Beware the shadows that hunger for your soul. Leave before they devour you too." Fear coiled around me as I turned to leave, but it was too late. The shadows in the corners of the gas station began to stir, their dark tendrils snaking towards me. I ran towards my car, their icy touch grazing my skin, threatening to pull me into their abyss. With a surge of adrenaline, I managed to escape just as the shadows converged, swallowing the gas station whole. I sped away, the echoes of tortured whispers haunting my ears. The gas station at night was a gateway to a realm of darkness, a place where lost souls and malevolent shadows converged. Its horrors would forever haunt me, a chilling reminder to heed the warnings and never underestimate the evil that lurks in the darkest corners of our world.